When I worked at NASA, probably 1997, 98, the guys in the photo lab, two of them were coming out of their office at the same time I was leaving my office, and I heard them laughing and saying they couldn't believe that people believed in the fake moon landings. 2007, one of the guys I worked with at Lockheed Martin told me that the Earth was flat.
So you have a Fort Worth connection.
I do have a Fort Worth connection.
And that is?
I worked for Lockheed Martin in White Settlement, which is Fort Worth, Texas, for a period of time. That was not one of my fun positions. That was strictly business, financial business stuff.
Gotcha. Just wanted to bring it up because we are Flat Earth and we're in Fort Worth. So
Right.
just want to make that connection.
I did live in Fort Worth for 2 years.
All right, that's enough in my book. Okay, so talk a little about how you came to work at NASA, your credentials, and your role while you were there. It's a big question.
Okay, so back in the early 90s, I was a college student and was working at the Air Force Base, Edwards Air Force Base. Some of the folks that I worked with suggested that I apply for a position at NASA because I was going into an IT college degree. And so I did. I found in the base paper, they had a bunch of positions posted for women, mostly women for some reason, which is interesting. Back in the 1990s, they were pushing that. So I applied, and it was very simple. It wasn't like you do today. It was a very simple process. And so in 1996, I was hired on with a contractor for NASA. The contractor is called Woodside Summit Group, and they do various contracts, not just NASA. But I worked directly in a NASA facility called Dryden Flight Research Center, which is one of the main NASA facilities in the U.S. I worked there from 1996 until 2000. Credentials was basic, very basic. I had 2.5 years of college under my belt, and they were looking for people just out of school, so they liked that I had some college, and then they trained me on my position and then expanded from there. It was a lot of fun. I learned a ton in the 4 years I was there, IT stuff.
So doing IT stuff like in charge of servers and
Correct.
things like that?
I had 4 servers in my office. I had my own office, which was located right next to the photo lab, which was a unique place to be anyway. So I had 4 servers. My servers were the backup servers for all the computers at the facility.
Okay. The entire facility?
The entire Dryden facility.
Gotcha.
Did all the backups. It would rotate through computers each night.
Okay. What kind of degree did you get?
It's
Or what did you study? when you were in
business
school?
IT.
Okay. Gotcha. How did you come into Flat Earth? Because you weren't a Flat Earther when you worked at NASA.
Correct.
Right? So tell me about that journey.
So it's actually, if you don't mind if I go back a little bit
Please.
further, when I worked at NASA, probably 1997, 98, the guys in the photo lab, 2 of them were coming out of their office at the same time I was leaving my office, and I heard them laughing and saying they couldn't believe that people believed in the fake moon landings. Now, obviously, I wasn't aware of any of this then. I had no idea, so I honestly just thought they were crazy. So I kind of brushed it off, and I didn't think about it again for many years. And then in 2007, one of the guys I worked with at Lockheed Martin told me that the Earth was flat. And I discarded the information because he didn't really give me a lot of detail. He was an engineer, very smart guy on the F-117.
Wait, a smart guy that believed in a flat Earth?
Very educated.
Okay.
Very educated and very
Gotcha.
smart, and aerospace background. Told me that the Earth was flat, and again, I discarded it because it was just nonsense at the time. So fast forward a couple of years, and in 2009, I woke up to pretty much everything. And it's a hard awakening when it's all in one, but
Sure.
fake moon landings, 9/11 inside job, chemtrails, HARP, and you just fill in the blanks from there. I started to research like crazy. So from 2009 until May of 2016, I was just researching, studying. I worked for the government until 2012. So NASA, then Air Force, then Lockheed, not necessarily in that order. But in May of 2016, I was doing my research, and I ran across a video that said 75 biblical proofs of flat Earth. And I was intrigued, having had it sort of in my face a couple of times and knowing the moon landings were faked. So I watched it, and my life hasn't been the same since that moment.
Yeah. So, so your background, I mean, you're a Christian, right?
Correct.
Or you believe in the Bible?
I do believe in the
Okay.
Bible.
Because I lately I've found that Christian just means you take the scientific worldview and project it back on the Bible. But if you actually believe in the Bible, that's a different story.
Correct.
Right? If you believe in a literal biblical account.
The geocentric.
Right.
account,
You had a
yes.
geocentric account.
Yes.
So in that process, was there one verse that like really jumped out at you, or just kind of like hit you for the first time again, you know, when you reread it from a flat Earth perspective?
So what I did was the book of Genesis, chapter 1. I went through the entire chapter for about 3 hours and went verse by verse, because that's the account of creation. And so when you look at it with an open mind and believing in a literal Bible, which I do, then you stop and you take account of each verse. And when you do that and you go through the entire chapter, then suddenly you can see creation in a different light. It's never taught to us that way. So to read it with a different mindset, an open mind, then the entire chapter basically tells you how God put Earth together. It's like a terrarium,
Sure.
kind of.
Yeah, I mean, my whole deal is, one, if you can even get past the idea of a firmament with waters above and waters below, but the fact that God created the earth first, and then he created the sun, you know, and so what was the earth rotating around for
Right.
3 days until the sun was created? And I've come to the conclusion that if that is true, it was rotating around Chuck Norris. It was probably, I can't come up with any other solution. Who's an Illuminati shill, by the way? Chuck Norris
Is
is.
that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
just
need
kidding, I
to
don't know.
research that one.
Joke. I don't want him coming after me. So, tell me a little bit about the work environment at NASA. You know, yeah, just kind of elaborate on atmosphere. Do people like each other?
Yeah,
You know?
great atmosphere. I actually miss it. I have dreams about working there still. So as bizarre as that sounds, I miss the entire, everything. The people, the facility, the things that we did. It was a very important role. I was part of Y2K. Y2K was this big, you know, false flag, basically.
Right.
But, you know, you feel important, you feel good. Everybody there was on the same team. You really felt like a team member, and we had a lot of fun. We had events, we had a lot of food.